guys, so today's video is going to be a bit different than normal. Instead of showing you one trick, I'm actually going to be doing a top 10 list on my 10 favorite beginner level card tricks that I think any beginner should know how to do. These are all tricks that I have taught on my channel already, so I will go through an overview of each trick one by one, but I won't go into full detail on how it's done because I've already made tutorial videos on all of these tricks, and I will leave links for every single one of these videos in the description below. But these are all tricks that are genuinely from my everyday repertoire. These are tricks that I do to people all the time that always get great reactions and have never once failed me. And the best part is they are pretty easy to do, so most beginners, if you know the basics of card tricks, these should be no problem for you. So these will be listed in no particular order. Let's go ahead and start with number 1. So number 1 on this list is a trick that I like to call Airwaves. This is a really interesting trick because it's a combination of both a mentalism effect that ends with a very surprising twist ending in the spectator's hands. So here's a quick overview of what the trick looks like if you don't remember. So the spectator can pick any card out of the deck and the magician would not be able to see it, but in this case, let's say we choose the 7 of diamonds, but the magician's head would be turned. You lose it in the deck, and then you'll show the spectator the card is clearly not on the top, not the king of hearts, also not on the bottom, not the 5 of clubs. But I would ask the spectator if they have a free hand, because I would just like them to hold onto the deck and then square it up the best they can. And now at this point, you can read the spectator's mind. You genuinely have not seen the card, but you'll be able to tell them it was the 7 of diamonds. And then one step further, you snap your fingers, and in their own hands, the card should appear face up in the middle of the deck, and there it is, the 7 of diamonds. It's a really great trick. It's super fast paced, and the method is very simple to do as well. I get great reactions with this. I especially love the surprise ending of this trick because you're framing this to just be a mentalism effect. However, the surprise ending of the card appearing in their own hands is such a great unexpected moment that I love showing people. All right, so number 2 on this list is a trick that I haven't really given a name, but the credit for this trick or the inspiration for this trick is Red Herring by Earl. It's basically a trick where the spectator completely handles the cards all by themselves and they are able to find the exact card that you want them to find. So the way that I perform my version of this trick is I will remove a 4 of a kind. However, I will leave one of the cards in the deck. So let's say I'm going to remove the queens, but then I'll actually only remove 3 of them. I'll keep these cards hidden from the spectator and say, actually, I want you to find the 4th one for me. So then I have them bury the top card and the bottom card in the middle, and then they could start dealing cards like this. They could do it in little chunks and then start shuffling the cards, deal little chunks. You could bury the top card, bottom card again, just completely mixing up the order of the cards. And remember, all of this is inside of their own hands. So at this point, the spectator picks up the cards and then they can cut the cards anywhere and mark the spot where they cut. And now at this point, I will show them the 3 cards that I removed ahead of time. We have the 3 queens and there's 1 queen missing. And I'm hoping that after all of this shuffling and cutting, remember, you could have cut the deck anywhere, but you cut the deck at this exact point right here, which just so happens to be the final queen. I do this trick all the time and it gets insane reactions because you genuinely don't even touch the cards whatsoever throughout the entire trick. The spectator is really the one doing all the shuffling and the cutting, and somehow you are able to reveal the exact card. It just looks impossible. Okay, so number 3 on this list is a very common trick that I'm sure many of you guys know. It's called the sloppy shuffle. It's probably my favorite way to do the triumph effect because it's so easy to do and it's completely impromptu. You could do it with anybody's deck of cards. Let's say the spectator chooses the 10 of diamonds, you lose it in the deck somewhere, give it a quick shuffle, and then you tell the story of how a spectator one time took your deck and just completely ruined the order like this. All the cards going every which way. You can see the cards going back to front just like this. Also the cards going to back, and then you snap your fingers and you are able to correct the deck, and there is their selection. So yeah, very, very classic trick, very common. I'm sure many of you know how this is done already, but I love it so much because of how simple it is. To me, it's just muscle memory at this point. So yeah, a great beginner trick that everyone should know. All right, the next trick on this list is one that I learned many, many years ago from Sankey, one of my biggest inspirations of magic. This is a great trick that he created that gives the illusion that you are able to hypnotize 3 spectators to cut to 3 specific positions in the deck. So it looks something like this. You start the trick by hypnotizing all of them, and then you will cut the deck about in a quarter like this, and then have the spectators try to copy exactly what you just did. So they can cut literally anywhere they want. They'll put it here, and then you'll shuffle the deck, have another spectator cut anywhere they like, and then shuffle the deck one more time, have the final spectator cut anywhere they'd like. So, you know, there's a few cards left over, but the packet that you cut to right here, the first one was the ace of clubs. And if you hypnotized all all the other spectators correctly, they should have cut to the other 4 aces. Another really surprising and unexpected way to produce any 4 of a kind that you want. And I love playing up the idea with the hypnosis. You can really go crazy with it and have a lot of fun while you're performing this. You can play into your acting quite a bit with this presentation, and it just allows you to have a lot of fun with the spectators during this trick. All right, the next trick on this list is my version of oil and water. This is, in my opinion, the easiest way to do oil and water because it requires almost no sleight of hand whatsoever, but it looks something like this, where you have 3 red cards, 3 black cards, just like this, and then you will start mixing the cards red, black, red, black, red, black, just like this. And then if you just snap your fingers, all the cards are separated black and red. And then you do another phase with 4 cards. And then if you want to, you can end with the entire deck separated. This is one of my favorite ways to do oil and water, and it gets great reactions because of how clean this trick looks. So the next one on this list is a really cool way to find any selected card when you have the deck in new deck order. I'm not going to set up the deck in new deck order right now, but I'll give you an overview of what the trick looks like. Basically, the spectator can take the cards and give them as many cuts as they want, just like this, and then they can take any card that they cut to, remember it, place it in the middle, and then give the cards a genuine riffle shuffle just like this, and then they can continue cutting the cards. And all of this is done in their own hands. However, once you take the cards back, you will be able to go through the cards and find whatever card they selected. It really is that clean and that fair. The secret of the trick is that it uses a new deck order before you begin, and that is what you give the spectator when they start this trick, and that's kind of how you are able to locate the card. It's really clever, and once they do shuffle the deck, it kind of hides how the method is done, and it allows you to end perfectly clean, and yeah, it looks amazing. The next trick is not a specific trick, but more a setup that you can do with any trick, but the Stebbins stack is an incredible tool for beginners that anyone who's doing card magic should know how to do. It's basically a way for the spectator to literally take any card out of the deck. They can put it in their pocket, and then you could just put the deck away in the box. Just by peeking at this bottom card right here, I could tell you exactly what this card is on the table if you were in the Stebbins stack. It just allows you to do incredibly impossible effects, and you could do even more with this stack than the example that I just gave. There's literally so many different tricks. Woody Aragon has an incredible project on the Stebbins stack. The one I just gave an example of, I taught a video on how to do that, so check that out if you want to learn that one. All right, so the next trick on this list is definitely one that I always forget exists, but whenever I remember this trick, I'm very glad, because it's a really deceptive and sneaky tool that I think more people should take advantage of. And it's the fact that most decks of cards have this built-in marking system where the cards that are asymmetrical with each other can be essentially turned into a 180 deck design. Because there are some cards, for example, like the 4 of clubs, that no matter which way you turn it, it will look exactly the same. However, the 7 of diamonds, if you were to turn it, you can clearly see that this diamond is on the front side and now it is on the back side. So you can use this feature to your advantage and take all of the asymmetrical cards and arrange them so they're all facing the same way. And then once you have a spectator select a card, you can secretly 180 the deck, have them replace the card back in the middle, and now you will be able to go through the cards and tell which card was taken. It's an incredibly sneaky tool that can be done with most, if not every single deck of cards. And it's great because it's quite underutilized, and I think a lot of people forget that this exists. And once you start using it, you'll think of so many ideas that use this particular principle. All right, the next trick on this list is, once again, not really a specific trick, but more of an idea that most beginners should use, and that idea is the card crimp. This is kind of my favorite way to crimp a card. When I'm having them select a card, I'll just bend the bottom left corner up with my thumb, but of course from the front view it's completely invisible, and now you can square up the card and just immediately hand the deck to the spectator. They can shuffle, they could do a riffle shuffle. It truly does not matter whatsoever, because at a moment's notice you can just cut the cards and boom, you can have full control over their card. The possibilities you could do with a crimp are genuinely endless. And people always ask me, what happens if the spectator shuffles the deck? Well, this is like probably the best possible solution, because you really can let the spectator do whatever the hell they want with the deck. And it doesn't matter, because you will be able to find their card no matter what. All right, so the last trick on this list is definitely one of my favorites. It's one that I've taught recently on the channel, but it's one that I will forever keep in my repertoire because it uses one of my favorite principles, which is improvisation and jazzing. Essentially, essentially the idea is you have the spectator select any card out of the deck, let's say the 7 of clubs, and then the spectator can lose the card somewhere in the deck, just like this. And then you tell the spectator that they will try their best and cut to their own card. So they can cut genuinely anywhere in the deck that they want to, but as you can see, they cut to the 6 of diamonds. Was that their card? As you can see, the 1 card more would have been the 8. But since you cut to a 6, I know this wasn't your card. However, if we were to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think this should be your card right here, the 7 of clubs. Any trick that uses multiple outs is such a great tool for beginners because 1, it makes the trick look even more impressive, and 2, it's a great opportunity to practice using improvisation as a skill in card tricks, because I think, in my personal opinion, jazzing and improvisation is the key to doing miracle level effects that genuinely are unrepeatable and completely impossible to explain. These are the types of tricks that you can do with that skill. So yeah, that is my top 10 favorite beginner card trick list. I hope you guys enjoy all of these tricks. Once again, if you want to learn any of these in full detail, I have left a link for every single one of these tricks that I mentioned in the description box below. But yeah, go ahead, comment what your favorite one is of this list. And if you have a personal favorite that's not on this list, be sure to comment that as well so you can let other people know and just, yeah, try and help each other out. If you guys want to recommend your favorite tricks to each other, please go all out and list all your favorite tricks in the comments. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. Let me know if you want more types of videos like this. Anyways, that's it. See you guys next time. Bye.